For a limited time only, get your own Zombie Slayer t-shirt or hoodie. A link is in the description. How are all of you lovely people doing today? My name is John, and welcome to another fantastic Zombies commentary. I want to talk about something that is very interesting. It's an exciting day in the Zombies community. Some very clever Zombie Slayers out there were actually able to discover the answer to a cipher that has been puzzling many people in the community. There's been a recent trend within Treyarch maps. They will take scraps of paper and hide them around our maps. It's then our job to find the pieces of paper and assemble them almost like a puzzle. The Zetsuba no Shima one was a little bit different. We found all the scraps of paper, we assembled them, and we got this image right here. And it was a series of numbers, some highlighted, others not highlighted. And we couldn't really derive much of a meaning from it. There wasn't really a direction to take, and for weeks this went unsolved. Recently though, we came across this image right here, and it was a bunch of letters kind of spaced out in what almost looks like a grid, as well as a DNA in the background on some Division 9 parchment. Like the previous image, there wasn't much meaning to derive from it. However, a very clever Redditor and Zombie Slayer, Philip JDM, realized that you can actually take the two images and overlay them one on top of another, and when you do so, you'll notice that some of the letters and circles match up perfectly with some of the numbers that you actually see in the original pieced together photo. And then Redditor Tim J. Jacquez saw this and realized that what you can actually do is look for the first smallest prime number on that piece of paper, and that will correspond to a character. Then you can find the next largest prime number and continue to search for them in ascending order, and the prime numbers on that piece of paper in ascending order, when overlaid with this image of the DNA, actually give you a message. And when you go through all the prime numbers 1 through, I believe 1000, although of course 1000 isn't a prime number, you get the message, ... Maxis. Have you found the space-timing coordinates for the other individuals I asked you for? It's imperative that we find them as well. You must trust me on this for my plan to work. We need their blood. So this makes me really happy. One, because it's the first explicit mention of the blood vials we've received in the storyline so far, and two, I love how this was solved. Oftentimes in the zombies community, we'll be given a puzzle that's pretty difficult, and what it will require is one guy kind of slaving away at it for hours, and he's going to use a lot of problem solving skills as well as information just about decrypting and cipher cracking. I don't want to diminish those people's work because they do incredible things for the community, and they've taught us things that we would not be able to learn otherwise. I like how this was solved though because it was a community effort. It took the community to come together and find these scraps of paper and then assemble them into one coherent image. Then it took another person in the community to come across this image of the DNA. After that, it was /u/PhilipJDM who realized you can take the two images and overlay them to get an actual near match. The images line up perfectly, and he was the one who realized this. He posted his findings, and then it was Tim J. Jacquez who did the final leg of this relay and noticed that you can take the prime numbers on this page, follow them in ascending order, and receive a message. It was a community effort. We solved this as a team, and I think this is what Treyarch has in mind when they leave some of these puzzles into the map. They want us to use our collective knowledge to really become the super puzzle solver, and that's what we've done this time. That makes me pretty happy. Enough of the corniness aside, let's talk about this message and what it might mean. The first puzzling thing is the author of this message. One may say it was written by a member of Division 9 because it's on Division 9 parchment, but that doesn't really make much sense. One may also say that it was written by Dr. Richtofen or Dr. Monty. It couldn't have been written by Maxis because it's addressed to Maxis. The only issue with it being written by Richtofen is that it's on Division 9 paper. Why would he have access to Division 9 paper? Was he at a Division 9 facility? If he was, we don't really know about it. Maybe it was written at Shinonuma, but why would it be written at Shinonuma? The origin of this letter kind of puzzles me. And you could say it was made by Dr. Monty, and this kind of makes sense. You could say that because Dr. Monty has imparted a lot of information onto Maxis, he was the one who told Maxis, you need to get these coordinates, you need to get their blood, and here is Dr. Monty kind of reminding Maxis of it. And because Dr. Monty has the ability to manipulate the physical world, all he really did was create this piece of paper with all the numbers on it. Then he took this image of DNA, wrote down those letters, added sort of like a little map to it, and then just slapped it onto some Division 9 paper because he has access to something like that, since he can really manipulate a lot of the physical world. That would explain the issue with the Division 9 paper. That's not really something we should get all that hung up on. I'm of the belief that this was written by Richtofen because that just seems to make more sense. Remember at the end of the Zetsuba no Shima Easter egg, Richtofen says we need to make a small stop somewhere else. They teleport, and when they return, our characters now have new blood vials. What if what happened was Richtofen knew he needed the blood vials, and Maxis didn't really know about the blood vials? This was something maybe Richtofen was keeping a little bit secret, or maybe Richtofen just didn't quite have time to explain or get into the details of. He just knew they would be essential down the line. He then tells Maxis, I need these coordinates to these people. You need to give me them now. And when he receives them, he uses that information to teleport at the end of the Zetsuba no Shima Easter egg. They collect their blood vials, and boom, at the end of the Easter egg, you'll notice our characters are now carrying more unlabeled blood vials. And this kind of seems to be the precursor to that, the setup to it. This is how Richtofen found out where to get the blood vials, and this is how Maxis was involved. And this kind of gives us a better idea that it was Richtofen's idea, and the blood vials are really part of his plan. This is something he's been cooking for a while now, which is independent of Maxis. If the blood vials are independent of Maxis, if Maxis didn't really intend on Richtofen collecting the blood vials, is there something fishy going on? Is Richtofen maintaining a large secret about the blood vials? Do they actually have a more sinister purpose than we realize? Maxis appears to be the good guy, and I put appears in air quotes because I don't really trust the man. He's betrayed us a number of times before, but he appears to be the good guy. He appears to want to make the universe right. But so does Richtofen, who's also betrayed us in the past before. What if Richtofen's cooking up his own scheme independent of Maxis? He actually plans on betraying Maxis later on, and the blood vials are a part of that. And he's just kind of keeping Maxis in the dark about it, like he does oftentimes with many of his plans. He's saying, I need the blood vials. This is going to help me help you, so please give me the coordinates to the blood vials. But why couldn't he be straightforward about the blood vials? Why can't he say, I need the blood vials for this reason, please give me the coordinates to where these people? Why hasn't he done that? Is Richtofen hiding a large secret about the blood vials? There's probably going to be some kind of twist, and if there's going to be a twist, I bet the blood vials are involved. I want to also mention something we learned very on in the lifespan of Black Ops 3. We were told that Primus would fail. Would Primus fail because they didn't have the blood vials? The group knows the way, and they know the way because Monty told Maxis. So maybe they're referring to the knowledge that Maxis has, but because Richtofen has some kind of outside information, maybe because he gained it from the Chronorium, he knows that these blood vials are going to be important, and maybe this is what will allow Primus to succeed. This is assuming that Richtofen doesn't end up betraying the group, which is a possibility. I don't want to go out there and say Richtofen is definitely going to betray us, because we have no idea. I just have my doubts about him I have my doubts about every character in this silly story. Either way, this is a great cipher. It gives us the information about blood vials I think we were craving. We were craving some kind of acknowledgement about them. We assumed they were important, and now it seems they really are important. And in addition to that, it also opens up a number of questions. We still don't know who exactly wrote this message. We don't know which people he's referring to, and we also don't know why we need them. He says, just trust me, we need this for this plan to work. Why do we need this for this plan to work? So it does add a little bit of mystery as we enter DLC 3, and because Shark is finally acknowledging the blood vials, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually learn their definitive purpose in DLC 3, and maybe we'll see them in action in DLC 4. Either way, I'm excited. The blood vials have finally been brought to the forefront of the storyline, and I want to once again congratulate the incredibly clever /you/PhilipJDM for getting the ball rolling, and /you/JimJ for grabbing the baton and finishing this relay and solving the puzzle definitively. Well done. I really appreciate what you guys have done to further the storyline. We're going to wrap things up right there. Let me know what you think about this cipher. Is there anything I've left out? Or is there another way we could spin this that might give us a different interpretation? I'd be open to all ideas because right now there's a lot of questions and we need them answered. I'm going to go. Have a wonderful day and Bye.